Stay tuned and let's build and review the Marvel Legends controller Build-A-Figure. Pow, and welcome back to the channel, Dan Who Reviews. As always, my name is Dan W. Make sure you are following me on Instagram at It's Dan Who, and remember you can now hit that join button and become a channel member as well. Either show some love or join the members club. Much appreciated. Today we have came to the end of yet another wave of Marvel Legends. This time round it is of course the controller Build-A-Figure. So go and check out all the reviews on the channel. Today we are finally going to build and review the controller himself. So I have all of the Build-A-Figure pieces on the table. So if you, like me, want to be able to build the controller, then you will need to buy 6 of the 7 figures in that wave, which include, you don't need Iron Man, he has no Build-A-Figure piece. You need Thor, Blue Marvel, Madam Hydra, Speedball, Quake, and US Agent. You buy those 6 figures, then you will have these pieces. So this should be very self-explanatory. 2 arms, 2 legs, interchangeable hands, which is always nice, especially with a Build-A-Figure. Already like the head sculpt as well. So let's try and do this, shall we? Let me zoom out. Now, I always mess this up on camera, and I would advise heating up the pieces as they seem a little bit stiff in places. I always get the feet on the wrong place, but this does have a bit more detail on than Build-A-Figures usually do, especially with the paint. Definitely different tones of blue in there. But yeah, as you can see, this is very easy done. Arms, legs go in all the right spots. They all click in, no problem. Well, that one isn't. There it is now. Yeah, let's have a look. Pow! So here we have the controller all built up, and it even comes with a set of interchangeable fisted hands, which is always nice, as I mentioned, with a Build-A-Figure. But yeah, first things first, obviously a lot of reuse here, but I don't mind reuse when it makes sense. Now, you may not know, but in the comics, the controller actually is friends with Thanos, and Thanos helps him upgrade his technology. So the fact that he looks a little bit like Thanos is more than just a coincidence. And there is more detail on this figure than first given credit. There is some really nice tones of blue here as well, and then I like the metallic blue they've used on the boots, glove, the crotch piece, and even the bit around the neck. But the head sculpt's got a lot of detail as well. You've even got the slave disc sculpted into the hand, and yeah, this guy's looking really good. I always like adding brand new characters to the display, and this he's popped up a few places, but he is definitely an Iron Man centric villain, and we did get a very nice Iron Man in this wave as well, so it makes sense. No complaints from me. I like adding new characters, but you are probably asking the question, Dan, who the hell is the controller? So no who is he segment, but still, let's try and break that down. The controller debuted in Iron Man number 12 in 1969 and has continued to pop up as an Iron Man villain, always upgrading his technology. A crippled scientist, Basil Sandhurst, developed mind control technology that allowed him to be directly linked to his exoskeleton, using slave discs to power his suit, draining the mental energy of his victims, leaving them in a zombie-like state to be controlled. So I hope that helped. All you need to know, he is an obscure Iron Man villain, and the first time we have had him in figure form. He even made an appearance in the animated show, but I think overall Hasbro have done a really nice job of capturing the general look of the controller. And of course, I'll compare him to Thanos in a minute, but first, looking at the head sculpt, he resembles Thanos even there, because you've got the lines on the chin, but the head sculpt is very nice. Angry expression, whited out eyes, you can see both sets of teeth there as well. But what I like is the scarring actually has the sort of darker tones in it to bring out the detail. And yeah, Hasbro seems to be using that digital face printing tech now across the board on comic and MCU figures, and it really does make a difference bringing out some of the details. Even like, he looks like he's got dark red bags under his eyes. So yeah, very evil, constantly upgrading himself, embedded in this exoskeleton, and yeah, enhances his abilities and makes him really strong. But again, he needs to control your mind and absorb that energy. But he's in that sort of blue helmet, that sort of metallic blue all the way around, which just has some nice sculpted detail, but it's quite simple, if you will. It's all about the head sculpt. Like, it really is a very nice head sculpt. But if we zoom out, this is where we start to see the resemblance to Thanos, as he's wearing that exact same collar. This sort of, from the crotch all the way up to the neck, is that Thanos body. Same with the arms, but I do think the gloves and the boots are different. But hopefully this gives you a better look at some of the details on the blue here. You've got a lighter shade of blue on some of the musculature, and then sort of a different shade over here, and then sort of darker areas as well as it gets to the gloves and to the crotch. But yeah, it does look nice in person. If I spin it around, you'll see not much detail on the back compared to the front, but again, that's fine. None of my figures are on the shelf facing backwards. That would be stupid. But yeah, the same Thanos crotch, a little bit of detail here. But again, the gloves I think are different. But again, nicely sculpted sort of metallic blue. I like that. And again, it's all about those slave discs. That is the technology he uses to control your mind. Let me zoom in on them a little bit. So on one hand, we have the slave discs actually sculpted in, and they just look like fans. To be fair, he looks like a friendly guy who could just help you cool down on a summer's day. But nope, he's gonna drain your mental energy and use it to control his exoskeleton suit. But there you go, sculpted slave discs on the one hand. I don't think they're on the other one. No, not on the other hand. That is just an open plain palm. But that is an open palm, sort of, you can grab you around the neck or something and use that one to control your mind. But yeah, hopefully you get a better look at some of the details on this body. But again, it's all just very much blue. Makes me want to sing that Eiffel 65 song. But down here to the boots, metallic blue. And again, I think these boots are different to Thanos as well, but the legs are the same. And again, you can see the different tones in the blue here as well. But you've got the thigh swivel, you've got the double jointed knees, but because it's a thick builder figure, you're not going to be able to utilize them as much as you want. You have got the waist swivel, ab crunch, which is pretty good for a bigger figure. You've got the shoulders that will go all the way up to 90, bicep swivel, single jointed elbow, but you hardly get any movement on them, to be fair. Like, that's all you're going to get. No swivel at the wrist, even though it looks like the gloves could make that. And then there's a tiny hinge in the hands that you can sort of use. I wanted to use it on this hand so you could see the slave discs, and you can use it to get it out flat. But yeah, there you go. So he does come with a set of interchangeable hands, though, of course, which are a set of fisted hands. So we can still get into some fights, of course. The head is on a dumbbell joint, so a little bit of movement there as well, as he hasn't got any crazy sculpt to sort of limit that articulation. So yeah, overall, decent range for a bigger figure. It's a builder figure, but it's also been a deluxe figure, if you know what I'm talking about, because of course it shares a lot of the same parts from Thanos. So let's bring in the Mad Titan himself. Thanos, of course, this is the deluxe one we got recently. And there's less reuse here than I thought. Honestly, at first, because they share that same big collar, you think it's just the same straight up body. But as I mentioned, the boots are different, the gloves are different. And also, I think there's differences to the chest area, because Thanos actually has these straps sculpted in for his collar piece, where the controller doesn't. So there's differences to the chest as well. Same with the bout. Obviously, Thanos has this separate piece as a bout, and under there the crotch is a little bit different, as that doesn't have this sculpted bout piece on underneath here. So again, a slight difference or modification they've made to the torso and crotch piece to obviously now use on this controller. But it's not just straight up the same. As I said, the gloves are different as well. If I can zoom in there, you can see Thanos has a lot more creases and his gloves are a little bit more scrunched up. Obviously the hands are different, of course, too, but yeah, the gloves are definitely different. And if I lift them up, you can see the boots are different too. Thanos has those shorter, stumpier boots with the creases in, where the controller are a lot more streamlined, sort of straight up. And I do think that gives the controller a little difference in height as well, because if I zoom back out, you'll notice the controller is actually taller than Thanos. If I put them side to side there, you can see the controller is actually taller than Thanos. But similarities, I give you that 100%. And reuse, of course, on the arms and the legs. But more differences than we first thought, as the boots are different, gloves are different, the crotch is a little bit different, and I think slight change to the torso too. But of course the collars are exactly the same. Just now we've got a metallic blue compared to the metallic gold. But I do assume we could just do a quick head swap. So there you go. That was ridiculous and pointless, but again, just shows you they're on the same body. And again, in the comics, these two are friends. Thanos helps the controller upgrade his tech. So let's keep going with the comparisons. And of course, we need to have a look at some Iron Men. So here we have the modular armor and then the 80th anniversary armor, but with the 20th anniversary Tony Stark head, as I just like that combination. Here we have War Machine and then the more modern Tony Stark head on the Invincible Iron Man. And if you wanted to create a more modern Iron Man setup on the shelf, then these three characters work together, as we have Hellcat the controller and the Mark 70 Iron Man, who all appear in the recent comic run. And yeah, this Mark 70 obviously comes in this controller wave, it just doesn't have a controller piece, but these two definitely look very nice together. Another Iron Man with the 20th anniversary, and then of course the 20th anniversary cap. Now the controller's a big guy, but he is not as big as the 20th anniversary Hulk, and if we take that out and bring in the recent retro Rhino as well, you can see even the Rhino's horns making that tiny bit taller, but they're sort of better scaled. Here we have the controller compared to some of the females in this wave, well, all the females in this wave, with Madam Hydra, Quake, and if you buy two, you can make Maria Hill as well. Here we have the Herald of Galactus, Thor, and Speedball, and Thor definitely could look the controller more so in the eyes compared to the other figures, that's for sure. Then here we have US Agent and Blue Marvel. And then let's bring back in everybody from this wave on the table. And overall, this controller Build-A-Figure wave is a solid wave. A lot of hits here. If you are a comic book Marvel Legends collector, then you're gonna like this wave a lot. And so do I. And I'm gonna rank all of these figures in my very own recap and rankings video on the channel very shortly. So make sure you keep an eye out for that. And to finish off, of course, we have Frogman and Tigra. And last but never least, Captain Britain and Hal Fire Hank. So, final thoughts on this Marvel Legends The Controller Build-A-Figure. Now, is he an A-list villain? Of course not, but is this a brand new Marvel character that we've never had before in Marvel Legends to add to our collection? Then yes, it absolutely is, and it's a pretty accurate representation too. Like, there is reuse, but when the reuse makes sense, who are we to complain? I like the different shades of blue, I like the metallic blue armor as well, the head sculpt's really nice, you've even got his sort of slave disc sculpted into the hand. Like, it's a pretty solid representation of the controller in plastic and a new character for the display. So honestly, I can find more positives here than negatives for sure. I just think people are not too familiar with the character, that is all. But it is an Iron Man villain, and we don't get many of those, but hopefully with this new Iron Man retro wave, hopefully getting a few more figures before the year is out, maybe we can add some more to the shelf. So start making room, but as always, you let me know what you think in the comments below. And if you want to see my full recap and ranking of this wave, then make sure you stick around on the channel, find the playlist, but most importantly, please hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell, don't miss out on a video, and please hit that join button. Either show some love or join the members club. Much appreciated. Honestly, come and join me on a live stream, be part of the channel. You are helping support. Follow me on Instagram at It's Dan Who, and I'm on Twitter as well. Tweet me, don't be shy, at Dan Who Reviews. And until then, people, my name is Dan W, and I will of course see you on the next one.